Now, have you gone through Kaminarimon, the Thunder Gate? I am Caede. The approach to the temple main hall starts here. Before we start walking, let's take a look at the back side of the gate. There are two statues. The one on the right is a female statue, Kinryu, or a golden dragon, with a gentle feminine face. On the other side, on the left, is a male statue of Tenryu, or heavenly dragon. It has a masculine expression and looks powerful. These two statues are called the dragon gods and also considered to be the guardian deities of Buddhist, this gate, and Kaminarimon. The dragon god is personified and represented by male and female. If you look more closely at the hips, you can see tails attached to them. It's interesting. This was also a gift from Panasonic in 1978. Now let's go further. The 250-meter stretch from here to second gate, Hozomon, is called Nakamise Dori. This street, one of the oldest shopping streets in Japan, has been around since 1688 and was sandwiched between two shopping streets, so it was named Nakamise, the stores in the middle. There were many other temples in the area, and as the number of worshippers increased, so did the garbage problems. The temple was so troubled by this that they gave permission to nearby residents to do business around the temple in exchange for cleaning up the area. In 1871, all the temple grounds were confiscated by the Meiji government, and all the buildings on Nakamise were reconstructed using Western-style bricks. At the same time, the street, which used to be muddy when it rained, was paved with cobblestones. However, after the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923, the air raids during World War II, the buildings burned down and were rebuilt to their current state. This street is gorgeous now, but there have been many problems in the past. In 1871, all the land of the temple was confiscated by the Meiji government. This was due to the government's new policy to modernize Japan after the Edo period. Later in 1946, the land was returned to the temple, but the Nakamise buildings were still owned by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and the government rented the land from the temple for free and managed the buildings. The government received rent from each store, totaling about 25 million yen per year. The reason for this low price is that the owner rebuilt the buildings themselves after the war. It's incredibly cheap. More recently, in 2011, Sensoji asked the Tokyo government to sell the buildings, and 6 years later, the government finally accepted it at 20 million yen. That is 20 million yen for all the buildings? That's cheap, even though it is over 45 million yen in Tokyo for an apartment with 80 square meters. So this was a great deal for Sensoji. As the land is owned by the temple, I guess there was no other choice. So this is the beginning of the negotiation war. The rent used to be 15,000 yen per month for 10 square meters, but now it's going up to 100,000 yen. After that, the rent will be increased with 50,000 yen each time. So it will be 250,000 yen soon. Oh my goodness. Well, enough gloomy talk. Let's walk around Nakamise. Now there are 54 stores on the east side and 35 stores on the west side, for a total of 89 stores where you can buy souvenirs and local sweets of Tokyo. Walking around while eating Asakusa's specialties is one of the pleasures of sightseeing in Nakamise. Asakusa is known for its Ningyo-yaki, Originating in Tokyo, the traditional Ningyo-yaki is a flour dough that is baked in a mold with red bean paste filling. It comes in various shapes and sizes, and you can eat freshly baked ones at Kimuraya Honten near Hozomon Gate, has been operating here since 1868. Another popular snack is Kaminariokoshi, or thunder rice balls, which are made by steaming rice into rice cake, roasting it, and flavoring it with starch syrup. The word Kaminari comes from Kaminarimon Gate, and it is said to have been sold since the late 17th century. Tokiwado Kaminariokoshi Honpo, located near the gate, has been in business for over 200 years and its current location since 1892. Also, there are many stores selling snacks made of sweet potato. Why would that be? That's because Asakusa is along the Sumida River. There have been a sweet potato producing center, Kawagoe City, up the Sumida River, so there is a history of being transported by the water. You may not see this during the daytime because the stores are open, but at night the area becomes like a museum with paintings on the shutters. You should definitely come back here for work at night. You'll see a completely different Asakusa than during the day. This shutter museum was founded in 1989 by Ikuo Hirayama, a professor at Tokyo National University of Fine Arts and Music. The paintings depict the history of Asakusa and the traditional events of the four seasons. Early in the morning and in the evening, when the streets are less crowded, you can not only walk around the area, but also enjoy a large-size picture scroll on the shutters. As you walk along Nakamise, looking at souvenirs, you'll see the Hozomon Gate at the end of the street. Let's walk there at leisure.